and thank you for joining me. Today, April 10th, 2020. It's a difficult time for all of us. We're all at home. We're all, in a sense, quarantined away from the rest of society. All of us, worldwide, whether we choose to or not, for a better interest of everyone. This is what our present currently is. So where do we go from here? Is there a way we can make new pathways? A new future? Maybe starting a business from home? Maybe a laptop and a phone. That's the only tools you have right now to create income. Maybe with the help of others and people we care about, people we get to know, we can get through this and create new joys, new moments, new victories. A new beginning. And please excuse the lawn mowing that's happening right outside my door. I know there's like live and everything. So if I'm overwhelming your microphone, please let me know. But let's see. Changing over to myself. There we go. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me on today's GritCON Expandcast episode 1. What a great start to have the gentleman stop his lawnmower right in front of my window here. It was silent up until this moment, right? So if you can hear me, give me a yes or so, whatever you can do. I got something exciting to share with you. Checking to see if anybody can hear me out there. Let's see, we got 4 people joining in. Nice intro, brother. All right, so you could hear it. I appreciate that. Mark, let me know if you can hear me, Mark. It looks like you're in my personal chat. So, like that new look. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. All right, so today's episode, the very first one, of course, we're going to start this basically, in a sense, chronologically to start your business. Is to look at your inventory. Look at your inventory. So, and bear with me on that trailer because I have yet to. I'm still working on editing it audio-wise too. So I'll be adding a bunch of stuff here. So, all right. So let's get to it. I'm not going to even waste any time. If you want to get to know me, you can watch other videos that I'll be posting later on. And who gave me, I guess you could say, permission. Nobody did, but to lead this GritCON cast. All right, so let's go back to the capture here, and I'll pull this up. And I think it's a good thing I can't hear myself because good on audio. Thank you very much. Let's see. We want to view and present right here. Let's see. Cool. I don't know what this is here. Either way, that's fine. Be able to follow along. All right, so taking inventory. So what does that mean? What does Ron mean by taking inventory here? Let me switch my keyboard just for a split second. There's one thing I forgot to do is switch my keyboard, but that's fine there. So taking inventory is basically your inventory, your business inventory, what that means, right? So inventory of what you have to basically employ yourself, turn what you have, your energy and your skills, into energy that people to serve the public and obviously make income, right? Thank you for joining, Gil. Brett Coffee, thank you so much. Donald Dodson, Gil Salang. I see Mark tagging a whole bunch of people. I really appreciate that. I believe Sierra is going to be on with me either live, either on the GritCON exclusive member community, on my personal page, and you can also go to, finally he's leaving with his lawnmower, YouTube events on YouTube. Sorry, I'm reading two things at the same time. Go to GritCON events on YouTube. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for all the hearts and everything too. That means a lot to me. All right, so who's ready? I want to see who's ready. This is, by the way, just costs you $0 to get this training, right? Or information, I guess you could say. I don't know if I consider myself a trainer, but who's ready to take inventory and basically either make a new side gig, start a new main gig, increase your business, move your business up, whatever it might be. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a heart, or just say yes or something, so I can see what's going out there on the podcast land, as you could say. Now, I'm going to be explain things a little bit too much because there's going to be a radio podcast side of this. If you're listening to me on Stitcher, on Spotify, or iTunes, thank you very much for tuning in. That means a lot to me. And if you want to hear the audio version of this, also too, you're welcome to join us on those platforms. I'll be pushing this out on the very first podcast. Wish me luck, everybody. This is my very first podcast. So, but let's get straight to it. All right. So, taking inventory. All right. What inventory? What, Ron? What the heck are you talking about? Inventory. So basically, everybody take a chance to pause here, and if you got your pen and paper, this is great. This is a great time to do this. And you can do this exercise. I'm not expecting you to finish it right now on this live, but take an inventory right now of your skills, your talents, your natural abilities, and what people tell you you are great at. Okay. Sometimes that's the hardest thing in the world to do, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I spent an entire year of, I believe it was 2016/17, trying to figure out what the heck my my skills, talents, and natural abilities was, by the way. Even if it's 12 months or whatever it is. Now, because of the current situation that we have, I would suggest to you that you kind of do this, the exercise with other people, okay? Because you in your heart may feel that you are the best at something, but other people will tell you what you're great at, not what you're good at, what you're great at. Okay, while I was on my journey, it was actually an epiphany that came to me while I was on the dentist chair, and the dental hygienist, wonderful person. I kind of miss her because she's not my dental hygienist anymore, but I spoke to her over the course of 2 years about the things that I did. And I when I was talking about photography at that time, I was just I couldn't stop talking about it, and it was what I love to do, and I had to take a huge pause for her to work on my teeth and everything. But at the end of the session with the dental hygienist, she says, out of everything you spoke about what you did, Ron, it seemed like photography was the one that made you happiest, and sounds like you're the greatest at. And I've seen your pictures she saw my pictures on Instagram and Facebook and everything. And she says, I'll be honest with you, I think that's what you're great at, Ron. I was like, wow, okay. And then don't get me wrong, an exercise I went through with Cherie Ami, who was a speaker, one of the main speakers at GritCON #1. She was the person that helped me with the ultimate final exercise for helping me with my life purpose, right? So figure out what your best skills, talents, and natural abilities are. And we'll get into that too. This is a bit of an exercise here on this live. How does that align with other people's wants and needs right now? So you have what you love and what you think, and also your big skills. Like, for example, you could be the greatest mathematician in the world. You could be the greatest, scientist or person who creates synthetic, vaccines, whatever it could be, right? Obviously, that's a very easy leap. If you're in a vaccine-making business, it's a very easy. And thanks for joining Donald Donson and upping my game, right? Yeah. So that's a very easy leap if you're a respiratory therapist, which is actually a true story of somebody I know in person, in the flesh. I know this person, Darla. She was in Norfolk Hospital, one of Norfolk hospitals, as a respiratory therapist. She resigned her position and jumped in a transportation vehicle, whatever it was, straight to New York City to help out with this pandemic, right? So that's a very easy leap for somebody to make in their heads. But that just goes to show you that she took inventory for skills, talents, and natural abilities. She's great at it. She's been doing it for decades. And that aligns with other people's needs right now. I didn't even think about this when I scripted myself for this talk, but it just came to the top of my head. That's a need right now. She can save lives, right? So easy leap. Okay. And that harder leap is for those of us who, I just lost my job, I just got laid off, or maybe you still have a job, but you just told not to come to work anymore, right? Whatever it might be, whatever's going on right now. Or you just realize your position as an entrepreneur. Thanks, Peter Osborne, for joining, Janine and Brian. Thank you for joining. So, I'm telling you, out of experience, you can bank on or improve upon your basic purpose, okay? Because at the end of the day, once you figure out what you're great at and what your skills and natural abilities align with, your purpose is going to come together through these exercises. And we'll go through them with you. I mean, I have a person on staff that's going to help anybody that's in the GritCON community. We are, Ron, Mike, Sierra, and anybody on the staff here. We're going to help you try to build upon your basic purpose and see how that can align with what you can help people with their wants and needs right now. Now, needs is one thing. That's great. You can save lives if you're a medical person, or you're in logistics, or providing face masks, or whatever it is. But there's another way you can also make money, and it's through people's wants right now. And we'll talk about that. Okay? It sounds like everybody's like, I got a decent audience here of at least 3 people, so I appreciate that. If not, other people watching on YouTube or listening in. All right, so next slide here. So, I'll give you an example of when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a writer. I don't know, that's just, yeah, little 11-year-old Ron Suzuki was thinking I wanted to be a writer. Now, how did that translate to anything that translates today? I guess we could segue into that. But at the end of the day, what really was a turning point for me in my career as an entrepreneur was that I told stories, but I didn't do it with a pencil. I did it with pictures. And now I do it through video and video production and working with a video production team, right? So, does writer mean agency owner or even photographer or videographer or whichever? I think it does, actually. Personally, in my heart, emotionally, I do think it does, because I write stories in my head. I write stories on a piece of paper, but then I translate them into pictures, audio, and visual, like I did with that trailer. I edited that trailer. About 50% of what you saw was produced by our team at White Box Media. The other half is stock video that I was able to gather on their license and everything, using credit to the people that made it. And of course, I didn't get their names, but the people that made those other pieces of the video, but also credit to my team for the 50% of the video, like Sierra and Mike and Natur, who helped out in the process to make those videos, right? And people in front of the camera too, great actors or great real life people that were in there. So taking what you want to be and translating that into what people need or want. It may not be the actual title of what who you intended to be, but the style. I'm a visual storyteller. That is my life purpose. I came to entire exercise to figure that out. Thanks for joining, Marshall and Kurt. Oh my God, thank you, Kurt, so much for joining. It means the world to me. The entire community has definitely prayed for you and your family, and I really appreciate you being here, Kurt. Another monster entrepreneur down in North Carolina, I believe, one of the Carolinas. I do apologize. All right, so being a writer. So let's use. I mean, Kurt. I would just use an example. He's a woodworker, right? He creates like these amazing cutting boards, and I believe other like signage and other products that people want to have in their homes, right? I'm sure somewhere along the line, Kurt, and I will be coming back to you, Kurt, because you're falling almost exactly in line with what I'm talking about here when it comes to this. What have I missed? Okay, so I see another panel in front of me that says Facebook user. I'm sorry, it just says Facebook user. What have I missed? And you can watch the replay here. Kurt Klint was a journalist and type of writer. Writer does mean creator. I appreciate that. Whoever it is, it only shows Facebook user, but I do see your chats coming in. Michael, thank you so much. Another creator, content creator. He does so by his voice. He has a wonderful radio voice. If you ever need anything, Michael Dobo out in San Diego is your guy. We'll get to that here soon about contractors and everything. All right, so I want to let you know that right now, compared to before, there's an entire digital space that's wide open right now. And you can get paid to do things you only dreamed of getting paid to do before. Okay? This is literally true. I have a great friend of mine. She's in photography, but she also is a professional video game player. And she doesn't work for any of the video game companies at all. She has her own Twitch channel. And if you look it up, twitch.com, I believe, or something, you will see entire community. It doesn't have to be young people, just entire community of people. They literally get paid to play video games in front of other people. Now, don't get me wrong, just playing and not saying anything is not going to get you anywhere with Twitch. But if you're entertaining, if you're fun, if you give people real life, if they feel like they can identify with you, if you talk about things that they feel like they go through every day, or you just talk about their favorite anime characters or video games or Star Trek or Call of Duty, whatever it is, and they, it's like that alignment of wants. You are their representative to, their friend in the journey through their wants. There's and it works the same way with YouTube. Run right below that. Sometimes people watch YouTubes just so they can get information on how to do something, right? If I am a photographer, this is huge, by the way, for my career. I learned a lot of skills and how to do certain things, and even the equipment I invested money in through channels I subscribe to on YouTube. Well, on the other end of that coin, somebody is putting out content on YouTube, maybe even with a webcam and a microphone, right? And talking about or showing off how to do something. It could be makeup, it could be cooking, it could be exercising, it could be photography gear. We can't really do a lot of photography right now other than landscapes and cityscapes by yourself. But now's the time, obviously, to get good at something. And I've been telling you, YouTube is your place to go if you're careful about it, because there's a lot of bunk information. There's a lot of, you're going to run into a situation what's called conundrum of choice. Thanks for joining, Dan Curry. Conundrum of choice. The conundrum is choice is you have a whole bunch. It's like being in a grocery store. You have a whole bunch of things to choose from, and it's too much. You're like, I don't know which apple juice I'm going to buy because there's like 1,000 choices, right? Same thing with YouTube. You're going to have to be really focused on what you want to learn, because badly enough, YouTube is giving you suggestions like, oh, by the way, if you like this, look at this. Hey, by the way, if you like this, look at this. And you'll end up in this time trap, which is okay, I guess, if you got a lot of time right now, right, during this pandemic. You can go down the rabbit hole, and maybe it's okay to go down the rabbit hole for a while, but understand you were also supposed to figure out how to do something, right? All right, so, and this is huge too. The next one down is digital marketing, right? This is where I play with right now. Digital marketing is a huge need. And I say this in a way, and I say FB on IG, that means Facebook, Instagram, and Google. Google also owns YouTube, okay? So if you're advertising a product or solution, a company, a brand on YouTube, you are using Google, by the way. If you're advertising on Instagram, you are using the Facebook platform, okay? So digital marketing, Let's see how big of a need this is, and why I'm like busy as heck these days in digital marketing. Digital marketing is growing, especially now, because there are retailers who had storefronts, who had either experience, well, actually they have physical products in the stores, and they didn't have an online presence. So they need to hurry up and get their inventory online for people to purchase, especially since the people that were visiting the retail stores are dying to buy their stuff. And this is what I'm helping right now with Kaylee out in Washington State. She has a physical store location. She's my original business protege, and she was also a protege of mine in the Navy. She has to get her physical inventory in the store into an e-commerce store, and also to improve upon that, she also needs to get new eyes on her stuff, right? So sell other people's stuff is the next one down. That's called dropshipping and affiliate marketing. So I look at dropshipping as physical products and affiliate marketing as services, or such. It's kind of interesting. So selling other people's stuff. So dropship is where hypothetically you have an agreement with a supplier to sell their wares on your store that's online, and you fulfill orders for them. You're like this branding middleman, I guess you could say. And bear with me for a second. Excuse me. Oh, I'm glad I brought my water. So you didn't spend his time to listen to Ron drinking water, right? So drop shipping is a huge market. In the next slide, you're going to see how big of a market that is. I mean, I'm dead serious. I actually have a customer that's in drop shipping, and it's a lot of money. You're going to see it in the next slide. It's gonna blow your mind, right? Affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing is literally, there's people out there that sell books, coaching programs, software programs, and everything. And what they do is basically they let you sell their stuff online. You take your audience, your digital marketing, whatever it might be. You use a code, and in that code, I mean I don't know, Mike 799 or something is a code. Or you can drop a code into your website, and every time somebody buys that product, you can get paid a percentage. They could be as high as, like 15% to 50% or 60%, or crazy amounts of money. So I know of a coaching program where if you sell $1,000 course, you basically put it on a website, talk about it, put it on your podcast, whatever it is, you sell this course for this other person, you will get paid $500 a pop. I'm dead serious. I'll go through it in the Grit exclusive member community and on the program. But that's a huge thing. I understand enough about affiliate marketing, and I know enough that I have affiliate marketing customers that I consult, but I don't actually do that much affiliate marketing. I've done it in the past, but I don't really do it that much anymore. So I do have a baseline experience to at least explain it to people. But I tell you, dropship and digital marketing, I can explain like you wouldn't believe. And I'll have friends on here. I'll if I can, I'll bring my Twitch friends onto GritCON. I'll take my YouTube friends and bring them onto GritCON. I'll bring my affiliate marketing friends and bring them onto GritCON. All right. I'm not the all be all of everything digital in the space, but I want to bring my friends who have made money in the space to teach you how to do these things. Okay, or at least the basic level, right? And then of course, I mean, if you want to get paid like right now, like tomorrow, or if you want to get paid next week, there's an entire gig economy out there, and that would include Amazon too, by the way. I believe Amazon is hiring for drivers and deliverers. Grocery stores are hiring for deliverers. Right now, this gig economy is shooting through the roof because we have to get stuff to people's homes because they're not leaving their homes, right? So it's something that you can actually just sign up for and start making money right away. And I'm not talking like peanuts. Like, by experience myself and with other people, I mean, if an extra $35 an hour is okay with you per day, I mean, is that okay with you? or freelance sites. I totally Udemy, not Udemy. I think Udemy is one of the choices, but there's a whole bunch of freelance websites where you can sell your administrative, your consulting, your office work. I mean, I've actually leaned on some of these myself. I've actually paid other people to get stuff done for me because it's just I have this much work coming in. And there are companies with too much work to do, so they're leaning on freelancers and people at home to do this. And it's just going to be growing from there. Some people have got hired through the freelance websites where somebody was doing administrative work for such a long period of time. They love their work, they love the customer service, and they brought them onto the company. So it's just a shift thing. I know this is not new for a lot of people, but some things are like this Twitch thing or affiliate marketing, or you're like in my age bracket where you're, old people like myself, right? I don't look old, but I really am. So, all right. So next one, community. I tell you, the biggest part of my income right now is community. I'm dead serious. I'm dogging like, I don't know if, my staff would approve of me saying this, but we built a 6-figure company out of the community that we have. I'm dead serious. And that I'll just call it the V Tribe. Those of you know what that is, don't say what it is here on this live or on this. Well, you can't say anything on a podcast or anything, but and type it in anything. You know what I'm talking about when in that symbol right there. That is the biggest money maker of my current business and present businesses, plural. Is from that one Facebook group that has that as a logo. I don't know if it's the whole like Fight Club, the rule number one of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. The rule number one of V Tribe is don't talk about V Tribe to other people. I don't know, but it is a community. It's a community of people, of men and women of different generations coming together and helping each other out to build a stronger America through business. I'm dead serious. I mean, that's why I interpret that tribe as. But here at the GritCON, we have our own tribe. It's not just veterans. It's not just young people. It's not just old people like myself. It's everybody from every walk of life. We even have somebody that's going to be a speaker from overseas, right? That C right there that was used, those are all images of different things I've done in the community, right? You have in the middle, smack in the middle is a tour who through the community heard about what we were doing and came on and he started working for free and we felt guilty and I had to pay him and bring him on the payroll. Right. So you have Kaylee, it's a picture of us when we were a bit younger, about 11 years ago on the USS Theodore Roosevelt, the same one that's in the news right now. Of course, back then there was no scandal right now like there is now. But that's myself in the Navy, and there's Kaylee also in the Navy as well. Down this lovely young lady with the long hair, that's Jasmine. She just started showing up to almost every little community, some get-together that we had. All right, and you'll probably be hearing her from here shortly. There's Mike and Ron, of course. None of this happens without the Ron and Mike show. So Mike is a huge part for the past 11 years. I've been working with him nonstop, and we've been going from there. A lot of you know him, right? And then, of course, with the podcast, it's supposed to be a studio that we're doing this in, but hopefully we'll come back to that studio one day, right? So, and this is key. I know I'm going to take this as a snippet. So the next slide talks about the 2 pathways for those of you listening on the radio. So the 2 pathways are pretty straightforward, and that is in the digital space, you're going to be really one of 2 things. And go ahead and comment if you disagree with me, and everything too. I'm not sure who else is seeing this, but hopefully this can be shared out. But if you could do me a favor, everybody, share this on your personal timelines too, because this is huge. This is a big one. I know people are going to pay for this information here in the future, once everything's done. But there are really 2 pathways in digital entrepreneurship. I'll just be dead honest. Michael and I, we talked about it for months on length, and we figured out that there's only 2 things, and that's a consultant, 2 people, the consultant or the skilled service provider. So I use the example of this gentleman speaking to this young lady on a laptop, providing probably consulting services, right? And then this lady taking care of this penguin. If you're taking care of penguins in a zoo or any other kind of environment, you are probably a skilled service provider. You had to be certified. You had to go to school. You had to go to train on how to take care of an animal different from other animals other than cats and dogs, right? So let's be clear. And correct me if you disagree with me. Please type something in there. I want to see anybody disagree with me, but follow along if you could. A consultant is someone who doesn't necessarily have a vocation or skill set in the traditional sense. They're not trained as a doctor. They're not trained as a digital marketer, photographer, or a content creator, or a woodworker, or anything else, right? They are a consultant. They help businesses get the job done. They may, and the biggest thing I've seen with consultants is they have a huge network. They have a huge network. I have a problem. Oh, we'll grab Larry from India. He's gonna solve your problem for you, and he's gonna be great at services. People can make a lot of money as consultant, right? I know a friend of mine who's from my hometown who went to Naval Academy, finished an entire career, and now she is legitimately a consultant. And she's trying to actually grow her consulting business, right? And a skilled service provider, I'll use Kurt as an example. Kurt is a skilled woodworker. And so is Donald. Well, Donald Dodson is a skilled leather maker. So over the course of years, whether they apprentice or whichever, I consider Donald and Kurt as skilled service providers, right? So what does that mean? Well, if you break those two down, on a consultant, they were really salespeople a lot of times, or they're really good at sales, or they are a salesperson and that's the service they provide. Okay. But in general, I've seen the best consultants also be great salespeople. They are a middle person. They don't make the service or product. They generally don't. They don't make the service or product, and they teach, show, and demonstrate or provide solutions. Okay, they sell the solution. They have their middlemen between the solution. They are a guide. They help with templates that are already in place. And they don't, not to say that they're lazy or bad people or anything. They are just, that's what they do. They solve problems and wants and needs by consulting, offering information, helping to clean up what may be going on, and also basically problem solving at that level. They can get paid next to nothing, or they can get paid millions of dollars. Okay, depending on how they do it. Generally, if you're being paid a lot of money, it's because you've been doing this for a while and you got results with a whole bunch of businesses. You can do that. For an example, there's a business that already exists, and you have information or contacts that can help them get to a 7-figure. If they're a 7-figure company, help them get to an 8-figure and such. And we can just do the math consistently with that, right? And the next one, hey Matt, thanks for joining. Great information here for photographers, and thank you for being a great photographer too. Skilled service provider. Okay, a skilled service provider is people who make things. They make the stuff. I don't know how else to say that. All right, they're creatives and they create. They're trained in a vocation, right? They produce from other material. Let's be honest. At the end of the day, as a photographer, I use digital equipment to capture what I have as a production. Donald and Kurt, they take wood. In case of Kurt, he takes wood and turns it into stuff. In the case of Donald, he takes leather and he turns it into stuff that people want, right? Like bags, purses, wallets, new leather masks and such, right? So they know the technical and the technology behind it. I mean, there's probably tools that Donald uses that I don't even know how to pronounce, right? But there's tools that Donald's probably never even heard of before that I use in photography and video and production and audio and such, right? Michael, he's a huge technical and technologist in my company. One of the best, run circles around most people I know when it comes to technical and technology, but he's the first person to admit that he doesn't know certain things, but he's always willing to learn. And that's another thing about skilled service providers too, and consultants too. Don't get me wrong, they should always be learning. And that's why you're probably on this cast right now. So, they make the templates. They also make the solutions, right? They also invest the time and energy to even get to the point where they are. Now, I'm sorry if I have to go back to consultant here because I know radio listeners aren't looking at the screen. But let's see. A lot of consultants help with the templates that the skilled service provider makes. Okay. So that's not a bad thing. And they also sell the solution that a skilled service provider makes. So they have this relationship that goes together. You should find as many of people as both sides as possible in your journey as entrepreneurship. Be aware, learn from them if you can. Find out what they're good at. Understand what's happening. If you're a consultant, there should be a whole slew of skilled service providers that you know. If you're a skilled service provider, you should hook up with a great consultant. And that brings me to the next slide. So hopefully you'll caught all that. The next one is the incredible combination. I should underline that, by the way, in a future slide. If you combine the consultant and the skilled service provider together, right? Either by 2 separate people or 5 separate people, or you yourself are an incredible service provider and you also become a consultant. You sell your wares, you sell other people's wares through your wares. You have this powerful combination. I don't know what kind of emphatic words I have to use. Superb combination. I don't know. It's like having the best restaurant in the world in addition to having the best cook in the world working together, right? You get that winning combination together. I'm sorry, I'm using restaurant in this time period. That's a bad example, but you know what I'm saying, right? You remember, as a customer, you remember that experience, okay? And what great way, be great at what you know and get great at something new. So sometimes you might have to, if you are both, bounce back and forth. I know it's having 2 brains, 2 hats, but if you're an entrepreneur, you should have multiple hats that you're having. So be great at what you already know, or if you need to learn something new, be great at it. Okay, I can tell you honestly, digital marketing is kind of in its present form is a new concept. It's been around since 2002 or maybe even earlier, but in its present form, it's only really been around since 2014, 2016. Okay, so it is something new. I had to learn an entire new skill set that's not even taught in universities, not trained. I couldn't go out and use my GI Bill, which I did. I'm lucky enough to have as a veteran, to go and get the information on digital marketing. I had to invest my own money to figure it out, and I also had to invest years and months to figure out digital marketing. But at the bottom of the screen, that is a real graphic. That is a real graphic of one of my clients. During the middle of the pandemic, they still made $110,000, over $110,000 in gross sales in the month of March during the pandemic. So you combine the consultant and the skilled service provider, and you merge them together and you punch them together in the middle of a pandemic. It is possible to make $110,000 in 1 month. I know it sounds like esoteric, and it sounds like, oh my God, Ron's trying to sell another program or something. But at the other end of this coin is a gentleman who is living what I see happening in front of my eyes. I can't deny what's happening in front of my eyes. Michael will be the most skeptical person in the world, the most show me everything. I don't believe you until you show me. And when he's on the other end, just like, you can't argue with the facts. It's true. You combine the consultant and the service provider together, and you get a massive combination. Okay, peanut butter and jelly, or C4. You take the 2 little clays and put them together. You got explosive. I don't know, whatever. Thanks for joining, Matt. Matt and Andrew. Thank you for joining. So you have to get this combination into the hands of new people to get them to understand they need to pay for it. Okay, and that's a huge thing. That's a huge part of your headache too, is dealing with new people that have never heard of you before, new eyeballs, new flesh and blood people nowadays looking at a screen or on the phone or on a computer, and they're new. They're going to be skeptical, and they have to be convinced that they're going to pay for it, and which they will. You have an awesome product or service, they will pay for it. Hey, thanks for the hearts. Thank you. It lets me know that people are still watching. It's not just talking to the air, but that means a lot. All right. So let's see. So that's something in itself. Hopefully, if you're in radio, you can follow along. Never done a podcast before, and this is it. This is the end of the slides. All right. I'm wrapping this up because I'm sure I've gone over a while now, talking your ear off. All right. And it's supposed to say goal. Hopefully I can shrink that down. Goal. Convert your know-how into income. That should be your goal. Walking away from this. And if you're in the GritCON community, we're gonna have some exercises together. Or it's gonna be, hey, you signed up for a school. We're gonna show you. We're gonna train you on how to do this, right? So at the end of that trailer I had, let's make it together. Let's make it together. I'm being serious about that, right? This is a network, and this has worked before. GritCon's not new at this. This isn't something that Ron just thought of. Oh my God, there's a pandemic. Let me think about something that's brand new. That's shake and bake. Which I'm not gonna blame anybody for doing that. I'm even encouraging, if you have a skill set to teach, do that. If you are a consultant, teach your value to the people, right? But I want you to know this is not a new thing. GritCon has been around since 2017. All right. And there is an entire community. There's almost 100 people, and I'm talking about, there's other groups where you have thousands of people. There's 100 or less people in this group, but they're all high value people. They're screened. They were chosen to be in this group, like yourself. If you sign up, I will have a phone conversation, or somebody from our staff will have a phone conversation before you get into this group, because it's exclusive. I don't want just a whole bunch of trollers in there. I don't want just anybody in there. I don't want a bunch of people just sitting around just, oh yeah, whatever type of attitude. You have to be a mover and shaker. Okay. And if you don't feel like you're a person that's a mover or shaker, you're still welcome to. As long as you're an ethical person and you want to know how to do something, and your process takes a while, we're not going to blame you for that. Some gurus out there might say, oh, you better hurry up and get your stuff done now. You got all this time. You got a process to go through, and I'll talk about that too on the other side too, maybe an emotional side for people through GritCon on this public broadcast, about how this is a difficult time, and you're gonna have to take time with stuff, and this is part of your process, right? There's a whole brand new community of people you don't know who are in GritCon, and those who are in GritCon, there's a whole bunch of people that are coming in that you don't know. So this works great for everybody, right? So get to know who's in this community. 6, 7, 8-figure business owners on this group. I'm not going to identify them because they want their privacy. They don't want to be put out there who the heck these people are, right? They value their privacy, and I understand why. But they are in there, and they're going to play this whole, like, I'm not the person and everything too game, and you might be able to figure out who they are. But they're there, and they got some incredible business. There's people in that picture who've exploded their business since GritCon number 1, right? I've seen it happen right in front of my eyes. Let's see, when you're in a network like this and you see people go from 0 to 100K in front of your eyes, in front of your eyeballs, and your peers with them in the same Facebook group, it makes it more convincing that you yourself can do it, right? So they really have exploded. Thank you, Sarah. Right? So new jobs are made. I mean, let's be honest. There are people that were employed, entire armies of people who got new employment income and had a secure job because of what was made through the GritCon community. All right. I mean, if I add it all up together, because I'm keeping track of who's making what in actions and who's actually got results in their business, I can tell who's lying and who's not. I can see the results actually playing out in front of my own eyes. It's millions. And I'm honored that I was able to, man, I'm going to start tearing up when I think about this and say this. Kind of like a sting in my eyes right now. But I am honored to have put together something that has done this. That was my intention, was that people succeed. People have a community, and people have jobs, right? And especially in this time right now. So now I also got to, at the same time, I got to put out a disclaimer, right? Not all income results are the same. There's some people that have come through GritCon doors and got super excited and made zero or no money. All right. And whatever reason, I know there's obstacles. I know there's challenges. I know there's time, children, and everything too. Maybe your path is going to take, I'll be honest with you, my traction of my businesses didn't get going until year number 9 and I'm in my 11th year. So it's a new thing for me to have a business that actually works. And I've been at it for a long while, through trials and everything. So you might be, I'll be honest, I'm one of the slow learners. I'm the slowest learner in the world. And yeah, I can, it's amazing what I'm able to do these days. I'm standing in awe of it. And I think, it's going to feel better. I want you to make it known that GritCON is a get rich slow program. So if you want to sign up for those other programs, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to judge you. That's if that's right for you to sign up for a get rich quick program, go ahead. Have fun with it, and maybe you're doing it for fun. But it's going to mean a lot more when you. I can honestly say it means so much more every $1 or $20 bill that I make in my business, because I went through the grit and the hard times it took to get to this point. I appreciate it like you wouldn't believe. If I would have made it in year number 1 or 2, I don't know if I would appreciate it as much. That's just me. You can, whatever happens with you, no judgments, whichever. But if you are signed up for Get Rich Slow program, this is yours. This is it, because only legitimate people are allowed to teach in this program. And I've vetted them like you wouldn't believe. There are no scammers that are going to be teaching in this program at all. So prepare to buckle in for more of this. If you're already in the GritCON community, welcome. If you want to get in, it's free right now, but you still have to have a validated phone call with myself or one of the staff members. All right. So thank you very much for listening. Hopefully that was half an hour less. It probably went over into an hour, but if I'm going for an hour-long podcast, I guess I'm doing all right. But thank you so much for listening. And let me turn this back over to the camera so you can see my face. Now I get my tears out of my eyes from that earlier moment, right? Let's see. Get this from here. Oh, there you go. So thank you for joining, everybody. I really appreciate everything that everybody's showing up. Awesome knowledge. Thank you, Sierra. And it means a lot. And be prepared for one of these to be a Q&A. You can ask questions about GritCON. And by the way, just wait for this. Facebook and YouTube is going to go do its thing. And it's going to go hurry up and turn this into a now you're not downloadable, but you can save this video in your save Facebook or save YouTube, and then watch this over and over. If you're joining us from the podcast, thank you very much. It's my very first one. And you'll be seeing more from me and hearing more from me and a community, GritCON community, including the experts. I'm shooting for 3 times a week. I know for sure Tuesdays is going to be a spot. I think we're going to do Fridays as well. I'm trying to figure out what the other day will be. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you out there. Let's make it together.